All right, guys, welcome back to Basic Entertainment and welcome back to another installment of Live Sports Talk with the series WandaVision. Today, I have a special guest and we actually have a good episode to talk about. Welcome to the channel for the first time, Ken Mid-Level Media. What's up, man?
Hey man, what's up? I'm excited to be here on your channel today, talking WandaVision. I appreciate you inviting me. Of course, I got my Captain America shirt.
Yeah.
Sorry I couldn't wear a WandaVision shirt, but I don't own one. So again, yeah, appreciate you having me on. I'm really enjoying WandaVision so far, and I'm excited to talk about it.
I know someone who owns a WandaVision shirt, and that's Shamoon Reacts. What's up, Shamoon?
What's up, bro? Good to see you again, and great to meet you, Ken. Can't wait to talk to you about this episode. And yeah, man, obviously, there's so much to go into with this. So yeah, can't wait.
And we got people in the chat talking Cobra Kai. What's up?
What's up?
Hello there.
What's up?
I do. Whenever someone says "What's up" or "How you doing," I give them one of these.
Hello there.
Hello there from Obi-Wan, the GOAT himself. So let's go ahead and talk about this episode and episode title previously on episode 8. And Ken, for the first time, you want to take a look and recap this episode?
Yeah, so this was basically your what I would call the exposition episode. You basically go back and they're doing a lot of groundwork explaining the origins of Wanda as a character, and not only her, but also Agatha Harkness, Catherine Hahn's character. You get to see the origin of her as well. And this episode really reminded me kind of like a Christmas Carol. Like it's a Wonderful Life, how she's just kind of traveling through different stages of her life and really trying to understand where she got her power. And then, yeah, I don't know how much you want me to spoil anything. But yeah, it's basically just kind of like an origin episode is what I would describe it as.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A recap. Pretty much an origin explanation. Very deep episode. So we'll go in our first impressions.
Very deep.
First impressions is pretty much a brief thought of the episode. You're like one sense of what's your internal take of it coming out watching it. So what's your take on it, Shamoon?
Well, I remember when we did that live watch party, just trying to take it at every moment we saw. It just got deeper and deeper, and especially the scene with her, her parents, and seeing the reveal of, how she got to know all these shows. It kind of went, like Ken said, it's like you kind of understand from the beginning why they were there, and I feel like there was something to that, that it was, something she grew up with. It would only make sense that way. But it's the way they did it I quite liked. And I think I like the style of Agatha going through her life. And we obviously just heard things about that, just like this moment here with, how her parents were killed and the fact they saw a Stark missile. And, we heard that in Age of Ultron. It really brings it back. And it's like a full circle moment. Because for Wanda, she's kind of very one-dimensional type thing. And this episode really went into the psyche of her, and it was very, very deep. And obviously we kind of understood more about the Scarlet Witch as well. So I really like this episode, and like we said, man, the reveals, everything about this episode is really good, and I think I could agree that it is probably the best episode yet. I really like the development for her, and I feel like although not a lot of action, we really got some cool moments that we'd never even seen before, and some perspectives.
Good way to put it. Ken, what's your first impressions on episode 8?
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of action, but there was a lot of effects work in this episode. You could really start seeing like where the budget's coming from for this.
Right.
My first impressions, like right out of the gate, like I think Elizabeth Olsen, like she's still not getting enough credit for her performance in the show. Because like to me, this is like Emmy worthy, Golden Globes worthy, whatever. She should definitely be getting some awards consideration this time next year. And obviously I haven't seen a lot of what's going to come out in 2021, so maybe I can't speak to that completely. But first impression. So when I watched this for the first time, I was a little bit conflicted because it is a very standard episode of television. Like you see this a lot in TV shows. They usually do this right before the finale. they'll go back and they'll explain a bunch of stuff. They'll do a very exposition heavy episode, kind of like a bottle episode, where they go back in time, they explain things, explain the origins. So to me, like for a show that had really been doing a whole lot of different things that I'd never seen before up until this point, this felt like a very standard episode of television, an episode of television that I did enjoy, I did like, but it kind of broke the mold of what WandaVision was up until that point, in my opinion. The second time I watched it, I got more involved in the story and the characters and just kind of the emotional journey of Elizabeth Olsen, Scarlet Witch, Wanda, and I enjoyed it more. So that's probably my impressions of it right now. Is it my favorite episode? Probably not. I still think the episode 4, 5, and 6 are like the strongest for me. But I'm definitely intrigued at how they're going to wrap this up next week.
Good way to put it. I want to say this just briefly. This is a cheat code episode. What I mean by that, it does stuff. It's kind of like the MCU mold, is that they will get into something that will make a future movie make a previous movie look better. You know what I'm saying? This very much made Age of Ultron better in my take, because what I was missing from that movie, I don't want to talk about that movie too much, but what I was missing for that was Wanda's origin, was how she became, or why, with the whole Mind Stone. And they kind of explain it here, which we'll get into, but this is very much a cheat code episode, not taken away from the episode itself. Great directed episode from Matt Shapman, who's done a great job with this show entirely when it comes to directing. Elizabeth Olsen, I mean, she freaking kills it. She kills it in this episode. This is one of the best performances in the whole entire MCU. Great dialogue here, great line deliveries from like people like Vision. So yeah, man, very much of a deep episode. Let's get to some of these comments here. Hello there, Connor. Shout out to Connor for putting me and Shamoon in his reaction mashup.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Of course, hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there, back. Talking Cobra Kai, kid. Honestly, my least favorite scene of the episode was the opening. The opening where Agnes was talking to Wanda, which we'll get into right now. And that opening, in my opinion, it was solid. It was solid directing. Oh, you're talking about the Agnes, the witch. Yeah, I can see that. I do like the nature of that scene, how it's kind of dark and, witchy and witchcraft. And some of the shots there were beautiful in that scene. But Agnes, Catherine Hahn's acting, particularly in that scene, wasn't the strongest. It felt kind of underwhelming a little bit cheesy, I would say. But
I couldn't get a steady read on just like how she was feeling in that scene. Like, did she know she had the upper hand there? Was she actually scared? Because she felt like she was scared when the one witch was her mom, I guess, what they were trying to say. That was her mother, because she calls her mom, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And like, did she actually think she could be beaten, or did she know the whole time that she was going to take them all out? But it was a gruesome scene. It kind of reminded me a little bit of, I don't know, just kind of like the makeup effects reminded me of Evil Dead a little bit, like Army of Darkness. I get it. Yeah, it was a pretty cool scene though. I like that. Great effects work.
To touch on that, we were saying that as well, Matt. It was super creepy. Recently in WandaVision, they've really been throwing that concept out there with things going a little bit in the horror direction. There was that scene with when Wanda saw Vision as him being dead, and then seeing those witches and the fact that their soul and like they were obviously very old, like that was quite creepy. And I feel like that's going to ready us for the Doctor Strange film, because that's probably going to have some creepy moments in. But you felt the mysticism throughout WandaVision, and I really like that. But yeah, I just think it has some creepy moments that we've it's been quite new to us.
Yeah, and like I said, I want them to, even in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I want them to double down on that, double down on the horror, double down stuff like that, witchcraft. I'm really into like the mythical type superheroes, like the ones who have magic and stuff. And we saw very much of that with Agnes. Bringing up the discussion is, talking to Wanda in that room, you don't know your ways. She's kind of assuming that she's the Scarlet Witch, but she needs to go back and kind of go through her stages of life and trying to figure out, pinpoint where did she became the Scarlet Witch, or how she became the Scarlet Witch. Which to me, I feel like in that particular scene, there's a bit of power scaling in that episode, like not in an episode, in that scene in particular, you have Wanda in the middle, right? And it's kind of like, oh, you can't do a trick here or something like that, right? And she's kind of, it kind of seems like Agnes, like Wanda right there, she's so powerful, but right there, she just got stopped, right? From the little basement. I don't know. I just feel kind of like they're trying to power scaling, like going up and down just to tell the narrative of the story. Now you have Agnes who's kind of, you could say, is scared of Wanda, but I didn't get the sense that she was scared of Wanda in that scene, or she should be scared of Wanda because she took that like 6 witches right there in the opening. So I don't know about that, but like they said that she is a Scarlet Witch, which is a bit of a retcon. What's your thoughts on that?
And I mean, they told the story of Agatha, I mean, kind of, but then like they didn't, because how did she get that powerful to begin with, to be able to take out all those witches? So you still don't really understand where the source of her true power comes from.
They've left that very open, so maybe they didn't want to like bring it up too quickly. Although, you know, we're getting backstory on her, so yeah, it would be right to just kind of go into a bit more detail about all of it, and maybe some narration of how she got this power, because they just kind of showed her getting the power, but you don't have an explanation. Unlike, you know, with like Wanda, we finally realize how she became the Scarlet Witch. She kind of always had this power, but it was unlocked in certain moments of high stress, and I feel like that's something that's been a reoccurring theme with Wanda's trauma. And like, I love the way that her trauma leads to, you know, more powers and stuff. Like, look at the like the chaos. I've been saying this to Matt Ken, that, you know, the chaos magic has always been like a big concept in the comics, and like I love the way they touched upon that, and you got clear context and you know what it's about. But with Agatha, she's quite new to all of this, and we don't really get anything on that. But I want to see more of like what's her. I mean, I think we will in the finale what her real motive is and who she's working for, and even who is this Ralph, who she says is her husband. You know,
right?
Yeah.
It kind of leaning into that way that she could in a way working for someone and is finding out maybe someone sent her to go check out something what's going on in Westview, because you have this crazy explosion. The whole city is hosted up. Could that potentially be the Scarlet Witch? Maybe they've been looking for the Scarlet Witch, and now they found the Scarlet Witch, which is a bit of a retcon when you come to talk about how previously you talk about in Age of Ultron, they were using the Mind Stone to test out Pietro and Wanda, and they give them powers. They absorb the powers. That's not the case here. It looks like Wanda always had that power, and she kind of unlocked it a little bit more. What do you want to say with the Mind Stone? I was a bit confused with that scene. She kind of like absorbed the power, absorbed a little bit of the Mind Stone, but she didn't really need it because she was already a Scarlet Witch, shown in the previous with the Stark Industries missile, how she kind of stopped that. What's your thoughts on that, Ken?
And this was this is the first episode where they call her Scarlet Witch, right?
Yeah.
She kind of like, it was almost like breaking the fourth wall. She was like Scarlet Witch, and like she like looked at the camera for all of us to react.
Right.
And it's like I've just always known that was the character. So to me, I was like, haven't they already called her Scarlet Witch? I guess it was like another Chris Evans at the end of Endgame thing where he says Avengers Assembled, and everybody flips out. I'm like, haven't they already said that before? I didn't realize that they hadn't. But yeah, it's. I'm sorry. What was your question to me before? I kind of went off on a tangent there for a second.
Pretty much the question is, did she really need the Mind Stone?
Did she need the Mind Stone?
It kind of.
I don't think so. I mean, has she ever needed a stone to access her powers before? Is that what they were trying to say in this episode? That I guess she went in there and touched it or whatever, and it caused caused her powers to enhance. Have they ever touched on that before? That she had needed the Mind Stone to enhance her powers?
Before this episode in Age of Ultron, the sense was that she got her powers from the Mind Stone, strictly. And I'll bring up a kind of a plot hole here.
Oh, so they said that in Ultron, that she got her powers from the Mind Stone.
Somewhat, yeah. They've been testing it out. I'll bring up a problem here.
That's bringing up a hole. That's a hole there. Here's
a big plot hole, right?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ultron. I've only seen it like 1.5 times. So,
here's a kind of a little plot hole. The Hydra scientists were like, "Oh, We've been testing out subjects, many casualties, but Scarlet Witch is proven, or Wanda has been proven that she is special. What about Pietro? They did the same thing with
Pietro is. I feel like he's not. I mean, he's got that super speed, but I don't think maybe his power isn't as special as Wanda's potential.
Yeah,
maybe that's what.
I
think they just try not to focus on Pietro, maybe because it was more about Wanda in that episode.
Right. I know,
but I get what you mean.
This is kind of a whole.
Well, they were implying that she had powers before the stone, right? Because they said that she cast a what was it called, a probability hex on the bomb. So they were implying that she already had the powers. So does that mean that her brother already had powers in that moment, and we just didn't get to see
That's
because when those casualties, those people, those random other people that Hydra was using, they died, right? They die by even getting close to the Mind Stone, right? Touching the Mind Stone. Is that the same case for Pietro? Unless they explain this in a future movie, right? And this can benefit that the MCU, they like to do these little cheat code stuff. Unless they say Wanda and Pietro are mutants. That's the only way you can really explain it. Because Pietro should not be Pietro should just, if he's just a normal guy and just got the Mind Stone power, that won't line up with the Hydra scientists were saying, right?
Yeah,
he's just a normal guy.
To be fair, like it's got to be extremely hard. We're like 13 years into this universe to like keep everything in order. Right. They're gonna have to change some stuff as they go a little bit, but as long as it's not too radical, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I think Feige is trying to make sure that the continuity is always there, because I mean he's now not just he was just the president of Marvel Studios, but he's operating everything, and he's involved in every project. So I think he's the one that's going to be making sure there's none of these errors that we've seen, because he's definitely seen that how people have kind of brought up certain points that this doesn't add up. This is kind of confusing fans. So I think he's going to make sure that what we see now from WandaVision and Phase 4 and beyond, that is it's consistent in what it's trying to say and the way it's dealt with things, and obviously retcon and stuff as well, as you were saying, Matt. But I hope they don't confuse people more, rather than just kind of get to the point with it and make people go, oh, that makes sense now, so that is a tough job though.
I do feel like they toss it up pretty well for them being mutants later down the road. They toss it up pretty well. It's just a matter of time we get the mutants in the MCU, and it was just a matter of time of when they get the rights for the mutants, they could start using the names like Scarlet Witch or Quicksilver. I'm pretty sure that's probably like a Fox X-Men deal they had also too. So, Connor, what do you think will happen in next on that cliffhanger in episode 8? You guys' thoughts on that question?
I like this because I was saying about we were saying, I think afterwards, like, they got this second vision, and the whole time that Hayward was lying about the real Vision being dead, it was actually always there, and he's now brought him back as the White Vision, like in the comics. He's like a complete synthezoid now, so no emotions, just straight up like a robot in a way. But yeah, I think obviously there'll be a big battle. Agatha, Wanda. Don't know where Monica is going to be though, and maybe she'll try and help Wanda, and maybe Wanda will they'll both fight her together. Maybe we'll see how powerful Agatha is as well, and it might be during the battle we realize she might even explain how she got his powers. So touching with what Ken said earlier on, hopefully they do sound like that. But yeah, I mean, this idea of two visions fighting that I heard, I mean, can you imagine that? Yeah, that'd be pretty nuts.
A lot of CGI, a lot of throwing around, flying, and we also got to see where does Pietro fits into all this too.
Pietro.
Right?
Yeah, so they pretty much said he's not real, right? So she made him from scratch, I guess.
It sounds like a massive troll then, with having Evan Peters involved.
That's very disappointing. I don't like that at all.
Right.
I think they're doing that only because they want to. I think again, just kind of, oh look, it's Evan Peters and he's Quicksilver. But I think that's just because obviously the deal went through, and I think they're just trying to tease that multiverse, and then we'll finally see it in Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, hopefully.
Yeah, that's one of the things I didn't like about this episode, and how the last episode ended, just with them. Because I thought when they kind of went back on that in this episode, so I thought in the end of the last episode they were pretty much implying that Catherine Hahn or Agatha Harkness was pretty much behind all of this. Like she made the hex, she made the town, she was pulling all the strings. That's what I thought they did at the end of last episode. That's why I really didn't like the ending to episode 7. In this one, they're more or less saying that Wanda still created this world. It's just that she did it with Agatha Harkness inside of it with her. Like she was there when she created the world. Is that what they're trying to say?
I think
like
she's
living in this town.
She must have, like, is there like a thing with witches? Like, can they detect if there's like another power around, or like if there is another witch? Because she knew so much about Wanda, and how did she know she was there?
How did she get there? Did she come there after? Was she there already? Like, these are the questions I still have. But I like
Agatha all along
and said that Wanda was still in charge of what happened. But I didn't like the end of the last episode. But also another thing was they said that she went into the lab and stole Vision. And in this one, they're saying that she didn't do that because she didn't leave with Vision's body.
Right.
So they were like misdirecting her.
They had video footage of her taking the body in one of the episodes, right?
Right.
I don't actually think she took the body. I think they showed a perspective of her entering and with the body, but
they implied it though. They implied that she
I think that was kind of
it.
I said this to Matt. I was confused why Hayward was still tracking the Vision body, because that's technically not the real Vision, right? But obviously he told everyone from SWORD, apart from the people involved, know that they'll think that Wanda is, using that Vision. And he was tracking Vision, so we're like, yeah, why is he doing that? Because we know that he's now got the body. But it's like, what is his motive still with Hayward? I found him very strange. And I mean, I think in one of the cartoons or something, I don't know if it's from the comic, I don't know entirely, but he's Human Ultron, I believe, I think. And me and Matt had this theory that it's possible he could be that. Or it's just that he's one of them characters where he's just trying to be very antagonizing and sort of bring out something in Wanda, but he just wants that $3 billion of vibranium for himself. So he wants to create a sentient weapon with Vision, and that was his main goal. And he felt that Wanda was compromising this plan of his. So probably just something like that.
I mean, I feel him there though. You don't want to just bury $3 billion of vibranium. Yeah. I mean, what a waste.
He had a fair point for sure.
Yeah.
But pretty much Hayward is sus. I don't know too much about Hayward. I think they got to go with the Ultron route, just to bring in that connection also too. Maybe they can add some layers, because right now Hayward does not have no layers as an antagonist. He feels very much like a generic. We want to say sergeant, blah blah blah. I'm a.
He kind of feels like in Iron Man 3, the main villain of that. What's his name? Kilgrave. Not Kilgrave. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Not that he has like extremis or anything, but in the sense like he just kind of wants to try and create something or use something of something and use it to his own will. It feels like another Iron Man villain in that type of sense. Just a typical villain that you'd kind of see, like, or wants power, just wants to use it to his advantage. But I think Agatha is the main villain, so he's kind of like another villain, but not as important. It's just because of the introduction to SWORD. Although I know, Matt, you didn't like the introduction of SWORD in this. Like, you felt it was very minuscule, I guess, or however you described it.
Very kind of weak and brief, for our first introduction to SWORD. I don't like my thoughts on this one is like it left us in a good cliffhanger, right? But it's like, I don't know, like, can he deliver? It feels like too much. It feels like too much. Each episode is, WandaVision and then cliffhanger. What's up next episode? You know what I'm saying? And I just don't want this to, of course, don't be a letdown, right? Have the action, have all the stuff that we've been waiting for as MCU fans, as the spoiled MCU fans, because I kind of brought this idea is that I respect this show a lot, what they're trying to tell this one narrative and stuff like that, right? Trying to be unique and different. I feel like a lot of fans are being kind of spoiled and wanting the MCU action. and I'm gonna fall victim to that too. I'm in a way I'm like, get to the action, get to the MCU stuff. This is very much like an MCU stuff. I still respect this entire season, right? I still have amounts of respect for what they were trying to do. But next week it's like we're gonna get those MCU fans are gonna be fed with that action stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I hope they can still find the layers of what this show has been going. You talk about the structure, feel a little bit more still like WandaVision in a way. Of course, we're done with the sitcom route, but still have that, that deep layer that's still there. Have a meaning that Vision is fighting a white Vision, right? And Wanda's fighting Agatha. It's still needs that. But yeah. And it kind of leads us into that cliffhanger, right? She has the kids hostage up. I can potentially see episode 9 being a cliffhanger or even a commercial for Doctor Strange Multiverse.
Is this supposed to be like I've heard many rumors, but I still don't know, because after believing that there'll be 1 hour episodes for the last 3. I mean, I thought that was true, but that was cat.
Haven't they been saying that since like episode 3? The next one's going to be an hour, I promise.
Right. Oh man, 30 minutes. I feel like not even the last episode's an hour, which is a bit disappointing. But like 8 minutes of credit, so it's like so it still can't even be an hour. But I really hope.
I think last week I'm watching it with my son, and we didn't know they were doing end credit scenes now. So I almost missed the white Vision, if I didn't see images of it online beforehand. And then we went back to last week's episode, and we discovered there was another end credit scene. But then we went back to every single episode, and they just started last week's.
Was it from episode 6 they started doing that, or episode 7?
I think it was episode 7, because we went back before that, and they didn't have them. So
right. That was also, I mean, first time watching WandaVision, I was like, is there going to be a post credit? They put so much money and time into production, like at least give us that slight teaser, because that we obviously got to wait a week, and it has gone very quick. But I feel like if they don't have a very climactic finale or something that really delivers, I feel like it's going to really impact the way I see the whole series, because I feel like it's too much of. It feels like more fillers in it than actual like getting to the point. But they built on a lot of concepts. The Pietro thing is huge, and now you're just kind of saying, "Yep, not real." It's just we're just gonna have with you.
That rubs me the wrong way. It really does, because I loved episode 5. That was like my favorite episode. Like not just for that ending, but just for the incredible like acting between those two in that scene in the house when they were arguing. It was an incredible scene. But this episode, it had a cliffhanger, but it pretty much ended in the exact same spot episode 7 did. So you really didn't accomplish anything story-wise here, except for going back and playing a bunch of stuff. But you're pretty much in the exact same spot you were at the end of episode 7.
But it's like not much momentum was built. It was just that you got context of Wanda, and then still the finale's coming. Like we got that ending, which showed Wanda's like her kids are there and stuff like that.
Yeah, she has her kids hostage now, but it's like, are her kids even real? So it's like, who cares? Like, are they just?
There's still a lot of unexplained stuff with that, and I feel like Mephisto is involved with that in the comics, because the kids exist with the life essence from Mephisto of his soul, and again, I don't know if that's been that was an issue with. I don't think he is was a Fox character or anything like that, but I don't know if they were trying to like maybe introduce another character.
Right.
But I feel that they've got to kind of give a bit more explanation on how the kids exist, because in the comics it's very clear, and that there's after like Wanda loses them, she doesn't see them for so long, and then sees them when they're older, and they're pretty much like part of the Young Avengers, or the Avengers at least, I think.
I get that she's like their mom, they're her kids, but then again, it's like, she's only had them for how long? Like a week?
She created them.
So it's like, I get it.
That means those kids
are your kids, but it's like you don't have that level of bond and emotional attachment to kids that you've seen. It's not like a mother that actually has raised kids for 10 years. I don't know. It just feels different and weird and awkward, that whole situation with the kids.
I think that's the sad thing about it, though. Like, it's like, reality check. All of this is fake, and she can't even have kids because of like the fact she's this type of being that I don't think they can. And I don't think Vision actually has a penis. I think they actually made a joke about that.
Yeah.
Paul Bettany said they were going to expose something a while ago, but they thought it was too adult. But it would have been hilarious. That would have been funny.
Expose something.
He
was going to look like Dr.
I think
Manhattan.
their whole relationship's weird. Their whole relationship's weird.
It is weird. That was my whole problem with her and Vision just in the movies. I never felt an emotional attachment to those characters or that relationship. I do now because of this show, but I didn't before.
If anything, it was more of it felt forced. And
it did, especially at the beginning of Infinity War, because they don't even leave off in that spot at the end of Civil War. They're kind of playful within the movie. But the beginning of Infinity War, they're full on in a relationship. They ran off together. They're in another country. They're all lovey-dovey, holding each other by the window. And it just, that whole part didn't really resonate with me.
I feel like if anything, this episode bought it just on the sole fact of Elizabeth Olsen's performance. I didn't bought the relationship, even coming in here, right? A little bit, but I still can't forgive them. They kind of rushed in Age of Ultron. They rushed in Civil War. They just plain out rushed it. But I just bought it on the fact that you saw Elizabeth Olsen's grief and her performance and the sadness, this depression she was holding of losing someone. So I bought it off her, not the relationship itself, which is kind of
her performance in this show is next level for MCU. I mean, it's on the level of Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans, in the movies. I think she's fantastic. She's bringing that acting skills that she got from movies like Wind River. And I don't know if you've seen what was the movie she was in with Aubrey Plaza, Ingrid Goes West. She's great in that movie too. So yeah, she's bringing some real acting chops, not just good acting for MCU, but just good acting for TV or movies, period.
Right. But yeah, I think this is a well acted show overall. I think Catherine Hahn's been doing good. Which is playing that sitcom role very well, which she was playing her ass off in those sitcom episodes. And then Paul Bettany, even him too. Great line delivery, man. You got that line delivery, and we'll kind of this actually brings up. Oh no, this is actually this comment right here.
What did he say in this episode about grief? He said a great line. I can't remember it exactly.
What is grief if not loving, persevering?
Yeah, that's a fantastic line. Yeah, my only gripe is the past few episodes we haven't really gotten a lot of Vision, at least not up until episode 1 through 5. So I wish we had gotten more in the past few episodes.
Right. And talking Cobra Kai, he doubles down on this comment. He says it's one of the best lines in all of MCU. Wow.
Yep. That's a great line.
It is one of the great lines, and I think Vision always brought that good deliverment from Paul Bettany. Never a question. Civil War, he brought some interesting facts. The great delivery in there when they were kind of arguing about the Accords. So yeah, man. Overall, this is a great acted show. I think even Monica kind of brings that lovable MCU type acting, whereas you like her as a protagonist. She's very fun, enjoyable. Charismatic, enthusiastic in a way.
I'll tell you what's funny.
Yeah.
She's the real Captain Marvel that we like, but the one Carol plays is cringe.
Right. It's like a android compared to opposite, right? It's just she just brings more enthusiastic. You can tell she's just more likable, right? So overall, I think this is
even the girl that was annoying as hell in the first 2 Thor movies. Yeah. She's great in this show. I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Jane Foster.
Not Jane Foster.
Darcy, right? Kat Dennings.
Kat Dennings, yeah. She was annoyed the piss out of me in the first 2 Thor movies, and she's excellent in this show. She's funny. I'm actually laughing at everything she says instead of being annoyed.
She was too whiny in the 4 films, and now they've kind of given her a bit more of a decent role in this, and way more placing.
Yep. Same with Randall Park as well. He's really good in the show.
Oh, great! The magic trick, love that.
Yeah.
Overall, great MCU type acting, but another level when you talk about Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, they bring another level with this show, and that's awesome, man. It's awesome we can get something like that in a blockbuster like the MCU. Talking Cobra Kai, do you think we could see Doctor Strange next episode, maybe in the end credits? What's your prediction on that, guys? Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
this whole debate about the big cameo.
Right.
Ken, I'd love to hear what you think, because I've really been talking to so many people about it, including Matt, like who they think could it be. But who do you think it would be?
I think it would be awesome if the Luke Skywalker level cameo was actually Luke Skywalker, and he comes in.
I'm so glad you said that.
And they just full on go into the Marvel Star Wars mishmash.
Right.
I'll tell you why.
They could totally do it. They're riffing off of old school TV shows. Like if they actually brought Luke Skywalker in it, it would be incredible. But I could see a lot of people being very upset by that.
I'll tell you why I found that insane, because a while ago, I think it was last year maybe, there was a rumor that Mark Hamill was going to appear as the Nightmare, and Olsen said there is a Luke Skywalker-esque cameo in this. And like you said, what if Mark Hamill was Nightmare and he was introduced? That would be insane.
Yeah. So you're going with him as an actual character.
Yeah, that'll be nuts. I would be going crazy.
That's where we're heading, right? Like it's Disney. All of these IPs are just going to merge together in like one big thing, and it's going to be just universe is what they're going to call it. It's just going to be everything.
It's so close now with Disney Plus and all that, and obviously Disney's owns the Star Wars brand and Marvel, and I don't think it's going to be long until if they do like something on Luke Skywalker. Sebastian Stan could play Luke because he looks so much like Mark Hamill, and again that Disney
that's what I was disappointed with at the end of Mandalorian, the fact that they used the CGI, then they could have just used Sebastian Stan. But yeah.
Oh dude, I'm so glad you said that, because not many people have been saying that. They kind of just use Hamill as he is. That you make him obviously look younger, but
the CGI wasn't horrible. It wasn't as bad as Tarkin from Rogue One, but it was very noticeable and kind of distracting.
Yeah, I'll disagree on that. I think the Mark Hamill CGI, talking about that real quick, it's pretty bad. But it was Luke Skywalker, so I kind of forgive it.
Yeah.
So Doctor Strange, it could happen, but I want to bring up a kind of funny thing, right, with Paul Bettany, right? He said that he even kind of talked about this circuit cameo, right? It's someone he has to work with, and it's someone he wants to work with, right? What happens? Paul Bettany is talking about himself because there's two visions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that would be not a surprise cameo though. But
maybe he's just
dude, I think Paul Bettany will get a lot of haters.
I can't wait to work with myself type thing, you know? I can't wait because I never work with myself. Now
that just sounds like RDJ arrogance. It's like only RDJ can say that and get away with it.
Do you think it's legitimately going to be Iron Man? Because didn't they have a report that Iron Man was in this show? Or he was.
I heard of Black Widow. Before. I mean, he was going to be in Black Widow. I heard about that.
Yeah, that's right. Black Widow. You're right. It was Black Widow, not this.
But if it was one, I heard someone I was talking to someone else in another stream, and they said that it's such a stretch. But they said if it's like that same level as Luke Skywalker, what if someone like Black Panther was at the end? But someone said if it was Black Panther from the What If series, so like again, that's a multiverse thing, and that's like the animation. But I don't know how that would really link. But maybe that's
just the way they introduce Michael B. Jordan as the next Black Panther and kind of bring Killmonger back. I don't know. Because there's been rumors.
I would love to see him back, but I don't know how it would impact the first film, because it would kind of, I don't know how it would affect Chadwick's impact in that film. I mean, it would still be amazing, but bringing back the character that, you know, his character fought in the film is kind of like maybe, you know, it's unforeseen for circumstances with what happened to him, and just sad to rest in peace to Chadwick. But one thing he wanted is like, you know, continuing a legacy, and he's always about, you know, bringing a legacy alive and just continuing that. Look at all the roles he's done, you know, Jackie Robinson, James Brown.
Award yesterday for his new film.
Yeah, shout out to him he won for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom last night.
Again,
he was great. I actually love that movie quite a bit. Getting off on another tangent, but I'm glad he won. I think he deserves it, like legitimately deserves it. I don't think it's like one of those situations where he died, we'll give him the award. Like, he was great in that movie.
Right.
It's not just sympathy, right? I mean, he's a phenomenal actor, and it's so sad. I was saying to Matt, like, Black Panther was going to be huge in Phase 4. Like, you know the whole Illuminati route. He would have been huge in that. You know, he's kind of like got that influence with the money, but then he's got that kind of prowess that like Cap had, and I love that about him. And like he's very true to himself. That's why I love T'Challa. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I really wanted him to be able to have like his version of the Winter Soldier. Like Black, that's what I was hoping like Black Panther 2 would be, just like more grounded.
the White Wolf, like all that stuff.
Yeah, I was really hoping for that because I like Black Panther a lot. To me, it's probably like a top 10 MCU movie. I don't hold it in my top 5 or anything, but it's got some issues. But I was really hoping for that, just like especially like Ryan Coogler just really getting into this character, and he's done it before and he knows what he's doing now. Just that kind of Winter Soldier level quality Black Panther movie is what I was hoping for. So.
Oh, dude, his introduction in Civil War was insane. Like,
yeah.
I wanted to see that T'Challa every single time. Every time
such a crazy movie. Like you got Black Panther introduced and Spider-Man in the same damn movie.
And
like
honestly,
it's nuts.
I was watching that the other day. They honestly carry that movie. You know, that movie does have problems. They kind of carry it. You know, and their introduction to that were amazing. Right, probably the best appearances from both. Still to this day.
Wait, did you say they carried Civil War?
Some would say.
I mean, I wouldn't say they carried it, but I would say they were the highlights.
They were the best supporting aspects of it.
They were the best.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Iron Man and Captain America obviously carried the movie. Between the two of them, but I would say they're best supporting parts though.
They kept the enjoyment going. You know what I'm saying? They kept that enjoyment, and that Spider-Man just. God, man, I want that Spider-Man in each movie, and I want that Black Panther.
That trailer, man, that I still like. I'm one of those weirdos that goes back and watches old trailers from like years ago, just because I love to recreate that feeling that I felt when I first saw it.
Right.
And I watch the Civil War trailer like all the time. I love that.
I've done that a few times with the Endgame Infinity War trailers, and I still get goosebumps. Like,
oh yeah, and the Black Panther trailers were amazing. I love those too.
Right.
Yeah, music was pretty badass on that as well.
The trailer 2 for Captain America: Civil War. I just remember talking about this real quick. I remember seeing Spider-Man for the first time. Right.
With taking Cap shield.
I was going nuts. I was going.
And that was back when I didn't pay attention to like the background noise and all the casting rumors and all that stuff. So when I saw him pop up, I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "I thought Spider-Man was Sony." I'm like, I didn't think he was allowed to be in the MCU. I had no idea. It was crazy.
Yeah, man, that was great times, and one of my favorite trailers in the MCU, all of MCU. Trailer 2 is Civil War. From all I heard, from
all 3 directors
from Wanda, Doctor Strange. Sorry about that. Doctor Strange 2 and Spider-Man: No Way Home had how you want to say that?
I like No Way Out as a title. That's a good title.
That's a better title.
That is a better title. They weren't so dead set on having everyone have home in it. And they want to do some stupid thing last week where they all freaking did misdirect.
But Emily is pretty much talking about all 3 directors worked with each other. And that's the MCU way. They kind of get some pointers. Hey, Sam Raimi, I'm doing this in that movie, so make sure you do that in your project, right? They do this all the time. You're seeing it right now with James Gunn. He's kind of talking to Taika Waititi. What are you doing for Guardians? Make sure you take care of my characters, overseeing the stuff. And I think Kevin Feige does a good job.
Take notes, Star Wars. That's what you should be doing.
Take notes, DC. Filoni is your savior.
Take notes, DC. Take notes. Kevin Feige, like I said, he is one of the best producers when it comes to the cinematic universe, right? He has built the foundation of how to do a cinematic universe, and he's doing it great by letting the directors
unprecedented. Like it's never been done in history, and it more than likely won't happen again on this level. I'll go ahead and say that right now. I don't know. I think it's lightning in a bottle. It might happen, but I don't know.
It's very much a way of going with the cinematic universe building, getting your anticipations. But I still feel like, and I kind of want to talk about the episode 9. I still hope it could feel like WandaVision contained in Eternal, right? I don't want it to be episode 9, maybe just the end credits. Don't have it in the final scene of the show. Just the end credits, pop up Doctor Strange, and you can have your commercial and your hype up for your next project, like No Way Home or Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Because I still wanted to feel contained and stuff, and that's kind of that separates the best MCU movies from like a good MCU or okay MCU movie. One MCU movie is just setting up too much. Like I want to say, what's a good MCU movie that sets up way too much? I want to say Ant-Man and Wasp sets up way too much. All that movie really was was just trying to show you the quantum realm, right, for the next Avengers Endgame, of course.
Great end credit scene.
Great
okay
end credit
movie.
I love that.
It was very much a setup movie for Endgame, and but you get something like Winter Soldier, Guardians. They just feel eternal. They just feel like within and contained, and that's the stuff I love. Like I really like. I still like my end credits. Don't get me wrong, but I still like my movie feeling like a complete film. And let's hope WandaVision can carry on that note, because I feel like this episode with its own show, it does a good job of doing it, because we get the origin of Wanda herself, and it was a deep moment after deep moment, and it was great. Connor, Shamoon, got a question: Cobra Kai or Marvel?
Oh my god. The reason, so if Ken doesn't know, the reason why he asked is because I have a channel called Cobra Kai Nation, and I'm a huge Marvel fan. I mean, Marvel's played a bigger role in my life from day one, but MCU obviously later in my life. But I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna have to say Marvel Kai. I don't know. I can't answer that question right now.
I'm a big Karate Kid fan. I just started watching Cobra Kai, and it's
great, dude! It is great.
I love it. The first 5
the writing is funny enough. To answer this question in a different way, the reason why I really like Cobra Kai is I noticed, even though it's not on the scale of Marvel, they have similarities in the way they refer to things, like they do in the MCU. The way they have Easter eggs, references. And this is Cobra Kai is a continuation of the Karate Kid, and they just continue on the greatness, but they don't ruin anything. MCU just phase 1, phase 2 of really building up to phase 3, and I think it's just the writing and the way some of the films came across to me. I saw similarities in Cobra Kai, very mixed genre, but yeah, it's just a great show. You can watch it very simply and digest it as a new fan, and you can know a few things about Karate Kid and still enjoy it. But yeah, it's great. Matt, you really need to get into it, though. I know you're trying.
Yeah, I haven't seen Karate Kid 3 because somebody told me it wasn't really necessary. I watched the Karate Kid 2 recently, and then they said watch Karate Kid 3 right before you watch season 3.
Yeah,
I agree. Wait till that. And I'm guessing it's because that character, the coach from the first one, comes back, because I know he's in the third one.
Creed.
I love that show. Not to get off on the Karate Kid tangent, but just like the way they set it up to, like, Johnny's kind of the hero in the beginning, like kind of set him up as the underdog, and the other guy's kind of like the prick.
Daniel's kind of been that annoying dude.
It's such a smart way to start that show. Like,
Big Three.
I love it so much.
John Hurwitz, Josh Hild, and Hayden Schlossberg are just they done great. You guys have watched Harold and Kumar, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they writ that. They've done some other stuff as well. I can't remember. I think Hot Tub Time Machine. I think that's something unless I was just one of the writers.
The writers in this those movies are in that show.
Yeah. I mean, they they created it. I mean, I remember the American Reunion, although people know them mainly for like Harold and Kumar and the other stuff. But yeah, I mean, Cobra Kai, they've smashed it. Yeah.
That's great. I heard. I think I'm actually just gonna jump right in, because I haven't finished 3 yet or 4, so I'm gonna jump right in Cobra Kai, man. I'm gonna start that thing now, because I've been hearing great things, and Shamoon is the one who's really influenced me to get into that. So shout out to Shamoon. Talking Cobra Kai, is WandaVision in your top 10 MCU projects? I would say no.
Yeah, I think it's too early to say that. I have to rewatch this and see how much longevity it has. I'm sure you guys can agree. And, I saw someone saying about WandaVision. I know Tom Holland said that WandaVision was his favorite all-time. I don't know if he said all-time, but his favorite Marvel project. And I'm like, damn, that's a big statement. You can't forget the other films you've just been in, Tom. Like, I mean, WandaVision, yeah, like you said, Matt, have respect for it, but it ain't like the best thing we've ever seen. Like, it's.
I think WandaVision later down the road, if the MCU goes back to kind of like some movies start feeling the same, I think we're gonna go back and look at WandaVision as like, wow, they were trying to be unique, they were trying to be different, and I think we're gonna have a lot more respect for it. But for the meantime, I respect it. I respect it a lot. But as a show overall, I just feel like there's a lot of not narrative, but more structural and narrative problems with this show. Like I said, once we get our season finale next week or this week, I'm gonna judge the show as a whole, look back at the episodes, give out different grades because all my grades right now for each of these episodes are subject to change. So yeah, man. Ken, what's your vision top 10?
It depends on how it ends. I could see it making my top 10 if it has a really strong ending, because I really like the first 3 episodes. Those are all pretty much set up, but I was very intrigued on where it was going. I like the mystery that it set up. The middle 3 episodes blew it out of the water, in my opinion. I love all 3 of those episodes. And that was when I was kind of like, this show is awesome. This is great. And then when we got to 7 and 8, that's what I'm like, kind of mixed on. So it depends on if they can bring it home and really turn it around for me with those last 2 episodes, with the finale. So having Luke Skywalker come in, though, would definitely help.
It's just literally Star Wars and Marvel merged together. You're like, wait, Luke, you already had your appearance in Mando. Go back to Mando.
Yeah, comes in and just awesome, slices White Vision in half.
Like I said, great point on Ken. It really comes down to this final episode. They really got to hit a home run with this last, not just a home run, man. They got to hit a grand slam with this, to be honest with you, if they really want this to even touch top 15. I'm being honest. I'm being for reals. This is just maybe top 15. Maybe get sliced in there. Maybe top 10.
Yeah, I think
probably in the top
15 sounds more.
There's a lot of great Marvel movies. There's a lot of Marvel movies that I really like, but I can also consider to be a little bland and mediocre in retrospect when I go back and look at them compared to like what we're getting now. So yeah, I definitely I think right now would probably could be in my top 15. Don't know about my top 10 though.
Yeah, top 10 for sure. Top 15, maybe top 10. Top 5, top 3. This next episode got to be freaking Dark Knight. I'm like for real.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it can get in my top 5. Nothing's gonna boot out any of my Captain Americas or Infinity War or Ragnarok is my other one in there.
All right, so talking Cobra Kai once again. If you couldn't tell, I also like Cobra Kai. Yeah, man.
Yeah, you picked the script and completely changed your channel to Cobra Kai.
What does he do on his channel? He talks about
Cobra Kai. Okay. Yeah. He was Nerdy Films before, and then he's just changed it to Cobra Kai. Really embracing the Cobra Kai, and I appreciate it, man. Yep. Cobra Kai has a big fan base, so I appreciate the Cobra Kai Nation rising up, just like the MCU and Star Wars and DC.
Hey, man, if they have the same level of quality in the later seasons, I don't know what their plans are, but they could probably go for like 7 or 8 seasons, probably.
I really hope. I think that the writers, John Hurwitz said about they've got enough story to tell in 6 seasons, but I'm really hoping they can continue it because they've done such a great job each season. And some shows after the 3rd, 4th season, you can kind of see it's losing its spark. This show just gets better and better. But yeah, the 5th, 6th season, it could drop, but I have the faith. So I don't.
The same way I feel about the John Wick franchise. It was like those movies just keep getting better and better.
Right.
It's like, I want 10 of those movies.
Film,
just like
they're gonna fight the freaking high table. Like, oh my god, that's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, I want all the movies that Keanu's willing to do, and they need to go ahead and stack shoot him because he's getting up there in age.
Right. I hope he appears in the MCU. I really hope he appears.
Wasn't there talks of him being in Eternals? That didn't never go through, did it?
Oh, well, he was supposed to be the villain. I don't think he is in it,
but that never.
You know what I heard? I heard Kevin Feige, every single project he has coming up, he gets Keanu Reeves the script. Check this out.
He has him on speed dial. Yo, bro.
Speaking of Eternals, so I'm like 10 times more excited for that movie now than I was, because I don't know if you all watched Nomadland. That's like one of the best directed movies that I've seen in like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And Chloe Zhao is directing Eternals, and everybody's saying like she did an awesome job on the Eternals.
I heard some really good things about her.
I think she's a front runner to win Best Director at the Oscars. So.
Right.
I have faith in her. I mean, I haven't watched much of her stuff and Nomadland, but I'm glad they've introduced a really good director for that. And I'm looking forward to that film because it's like set way before the MCU as we know it. And I mean, with Keanu though, I just hope. Imagine if he was like Adam Warlock, like something insane. Like there's that joke about him being a god.
Yeah, they gotta bring him in.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
He has to be in MCU. I think he will when he's. I don't know, man. It's good. He's kind of.
I mean, pretty much everybody will be in the MCU at some point.
Everyone, yeah,
they're all coming.
right.
Wait, what if Keanu was the surprise cameo? Would you say that's on Luke level? For me, I think that'd be.
If it's Keanu as John Wick, then hell yeah.
You killed my dog.
Sparky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking Cobra Kai, Matt, you have to get into Cobra Kai. Yes, I will. I'm actually gonna. I'm gonna start it today. I will, and I'll actually give out a review.
You will get addicted, though. That's all I'm gonna say. You watch 1 or 2 episodes, you're like, oh my god. I felt like that with Game of Thrones, and then obviously the final season ruined it. But yeah, other than that, that's how I got into it. We won't go into that.
Game of Thrones talk. Yeah. I don't know if the final season of Game of Thrones ruins the whole show. It's a very
not the whole show, but just the ending of the show. I feel. I mean, the whole build up with the Night King and just the way it happens. Like, I was expecting that battle to be longer, but yeah, we won't go into that. That's just. How
about the episode where you can't see anything and it's supposed to be the best battle of the whole series?
Isn't that The Long Night? I think it's called, or whatever. That's exactly what my brother said, Ken. He was like, what's the point of this episode? You literally couldn't see shit. It's like they put a filter on it so you couldn't see anything.
Yeah, I haven't grabbed it in 4K because something tells me it probably looks pretty good in 4K just with the contrast and the blacks and stuff because it's a very dark one. But streaming was horrible that night.
Yeah, so I will get into Cobra Kai. And talking about Chloe Zhao, No Man Land, I just actually have my first mini movie review on Instagram, like a brief kind of like essay, a little talk of it. So yeah, and I think
I saw that.
Yeah, I think with Chloe Zhao, Internals, after watching that movie, sign me up. I think she's a phenomenal director, phenomenal, and she's a real talent coming up. So I want to get into more of her other movies, but No Man Land for sure is a beautiful film. That's all I'll say. Connor, enjoy Mate. Yeah, it's on Hulu. You can check it out. Is it considered a 2021 movie? Because I have it on my 2021.
I don't know. It's so muddled and messed up right now because they're including all the films up until the end of February, I think, for like awards consideration. So anything that came out up until the end of February can be considered for the Oscars. So I would say it's a 2021 release. I'm just going to go ahead and call it that.
Yeah,
because it debuted on Hulu and in theaters last weekend. So, but yeah, it can be considered for this year's Oscars though.
Okay. So because I saw it said release date 2020, and I was like, it has to be some Corona shit or some crap, you know? But yeah. So yeah, Grace, Carrie. Oh my God, yo.
That's one of my friends. What's up, Grace?
Thor: The Dark World is hands down the worst Marvel film.
I think we can all agree.
I disagree.
I know.
I think
Captain Marvel.
I think Iron Man 2 is worse than Thor: The Dark World.
Some people think Incredible Hulk was the worst, actually.
The first Thor is worse than The Dark World.
What?
I'll say that.
What?
I'm not the first Thor fan
Ken,
at all.
I was respecting you from the moment I met you, but that's a cold take, my friend.
I don't like it. I think they have horrible chemistry, him and Natalie Portman in that movie, and it's like that's the main focal point of the movie. I don't like it. Thor 2 gets a bad rap. It's directed by a Game of Thrones director. It feels more like a Game of Thrones episode than it does an MCU movie. I will say that. But I enjoyed parts of that movie, and I like the how they developed the relationship between him and Loki in that movie. Even though the villain's shit, the villain's crap, I'll agree with that. And Endgame made it better too, I think.
Yeah, but
with the inclusion of his mom.
That's the MCU cheat code I'm talking about. They go back in films and making sure. Remember that film?
But they're so good at those cheat codes, though.
Oh man, but I feel like it's kind of cheap sometimes. But if you look at it as a cinematic universe, it fits, right? It fits as there.
But I'm not saying this is like a top 20. It's probably like Iron Man 2, Thor, and Thor: The Dark World. So it's like my number 21 probably.
Iron Man 2
is it's better.
Pleasure. Iron Man 2 for me is the guilty pleasure in MCU. I really
the guiltiest pleasure.
Bud. He's bad.
Mickey Rourke, yeah, he was horrible. Coming off of The Wrestler, which like he was phenomenal in, I was super excited to see him in like an MCU movie, and he was bad in the movie, very bad.
Justin Hammer was great in that movie. I freaking love.
They
need to bring him back.
Great.
Yeah,
they could.
Yeah, they could. set up some things. Thunderbolts, maybe. Have you guys ever seen Dune? Are you talking about the new one? Oh my God, I know Shamoon did a react video to the trailer.
Yeah,
When is that coming out? October, I believe. It kicked
they got
out.
pushed back, didn't they?
Yeah. So I will be checking it out.
Are
I'm
you talking about the David Lynch film? The old one or the new one?
no the new one.
The new one. Okay.
I think Grace was saying, have you ever seen it though, like prior? Because
Yeah,
obviously
because she frames it like we've already seen the movie.
Yeah.
I think she's talking about it must be the original.
No, I haven't seen the first one, and I think I
neither.
won't do my homework for Dune. I want Denis Villeneuve's Dune to be like my first encounter.
Wasn't it based on a novel?
It's based on
Oh yeah, it's I read the novel in my early 20s, maybe like late teens or something. It's very long, and I have no idea how they're going to adapt that into a movie. But if anybody can do it, it's Denis Villeneuve. He's the best filmmaker working today, in my opinion.
One of my favorites right now. Connor, as soon as I watched Cobra Kai, I couldn't stop watching.
Yeah.
So it might be one of those things where, I might just binge the whole thing. It's, of course, Netflix. It's right there for me. So
they're very short episodes for like season 1. I think like 20 to 25. They slightly get longer, but sure Ken, like you must have binged it as soon as you saw the first few episodes.
Yeah, I just started like a week ago. But I only got through 5 episodes. I'm trying to watch it with my son. We're watching it together. So
it's a great show.
Time to get in there. Yeah, but I love it so far.
Also, too, Grace, I think since Ragnarok is the first 2 Thor movies, simply just don't compare. I hope they can keep up the momentum for Thor 4.
Not even close.
I don't think. I think.
I like Ragnarok, but it's very different.
The only good Thor movie is Thor. I'm not a fan of Ragnarok.
I would say 4 and 4 Ragnarok.
I will say this: we were talking about it, Shamoon. We were talking about how Thor 4 is just going to be a separate thing, right? It's not going to be really adaptating anything. I feel like adaptating the Ragnarok storyline in the comics is kind of in the way how they did it was kind of a piss on the comics, in my opinion. They didn't take it seriously, and I have a real problem.
You know who to blame if you don't like the comedy. You got to blame Taika.
Ass shot in that, or the Hulk ass shot in the movie. No, you know, like bare butt Hulk.
It was too cheesy and corny for me.
Oh, that was funny though. Let's be honest, because you saw the memes about someone had to come into work and was told you have to make a naked Hulk. So obviously people were throwing some other stuff in that, and yeah, imagine that you have to make a big green butt like at your job today. Like that's your work as a designer.
That's your job.
Thor 4, talking about that, I think it's going to be his own thing. I'm just going to look at it that way. I'm not going to hold no grudge for Taika, what he did at Ragnarok.
Thor 4, it is supposed to, Taika's definitely building on the momentum. But yeah, I feel that the fans were a little bit divided, although it got good reception. But loads of fans I'd seen, big 4 fans are like, yeah, he's too funny. The film's too funny. It's Ragnarok. It's like supposed to be the end of the world. In the actual mythology, Norse mythology, that's like Judgment Day. That's it. Yeah, and I feel like Thor suffered, and you can see his reaction to losing everything, apart from his family, his own home, and I feel like the seriousness of his character was seen in Infinity War, and I love the way they dealt with it. In a way that Ragnarok was a bit too funny at times, but I still like the film. I think Taika did great in his way, but yeah, a lot of people like that traditional Shakespearean type Thor.
I like that.
I really liked it as well, but because it's very comic book. But yeah, I think it's just it's interesting. We all have different opinions on it.
I think visually, it's one of the best looking Marvel movies.
Talking about
Ragnarok, yeah.
Ragnarok, yeah.
I think the colors work.
If you like that old Shakespearean Thor, why don't you like the Dark World? That's like the most Shakespearean, right?
But the Dark World is just
it just was weak in the way it was. I think it's the villain. You know what, Ken? I think it was the villain. I think Malekith was
the villain's very weak.
This game,
I think that's what ruined it for me. And
dude, Malekith was getting bodied by Thor's mom. Enough said.
But also, like the villain in Guardians of the Galaxy is very weak, but everybody loves.
I will agree with that.
Loves that movie.
Ronan is kind of weak.
Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah.
I found him a bit
Marvel
too funny.
Villains on the whole have never been the strongest until recently.
Recently,
Thanos is just out there as probably the best villain so far. Although I think Zemo was pretty good, and
Vulture from If You Want to
Killmonger. Vulture is my god, he was fantastic.
I don't know how you guys feel about Far From Home. People seem to shit on this movie. I love Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. He's like one of my favorite characters in the whole MCU.
Amazing. Yeah. Fun fact, you guys may know this, but Jake Gyllenhaal, I think he auditioned for the Spider-Man Raimi films.
Yes.
So I think it was quite a nice touch in that sense as well. And I mean, I feel like what he did is channeled that energy of being annoyed and not getting that role as Spider-Man, and he just did it.
He's so good. He's one of my favorite
Peter actors. Parker, it's just him throwing the shade.
And talking about that, I think Jake was, man, this is more like a Q&A, huh? We're in a spoiler time.
Yeah, I like this. We've really gone off WandaVision, haven't we? It's really gone off a tangent.
I always bring things off the rails. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I think it's cool though. I think it makes it's just way more fun that way. But yeah, I mean, we kind of have discussed the episode, I guess. But
no, it's all good. We'll do we'll finish up these questions and then we'll actually wrap up the show. Connor, Shane, Tanner could probably play Anakin Skywalker. Okay, now we're gonna go on.
Tanner Buchanan, who plays Robbie. He has that kind of. Well, see, the thing is, I feel like he could be a really good Harry Osborn. If you watch Cobra Kai, when you watch Cobra Kai, Matt, closely look at Robbie Keane. He's played by Tanner Buchanan, and especially in season 3, you get that kind of.
Is that Johnny's son?
Yeah,
the Johnny's son. Okay, he hasn't really like broke out as a big character as far as I'm watching yet.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't want to. Don't say anything, Connor, in the comments, anything about like spoilers, because you don't want to ruin it for these guys. I mean, I'm really trying to hold back, but you will see like his acting ability is amazing, and these guys after season 3, the younger cast, they're just up there now. Like they've been signed to so many big talent agencies, and they're really making their mark now, and they're only like my age as well, so it's pretty cool. But once you get to that part of Cobra Kai, let me know what you think.
Right on. I will be keeping an eye because I like my, fan casting speculations and all that stuff. I agree, Matt. Thor 3 is on the bottom of the MCU list. Yes, it is. It's a complete joke, in my opinion.
Never heard such craziness in my life.
You can't mess with that movie, man. I just watching is like this is just bad. It's just this is for kids. Okay. This is not for me.
Wait, Thor 3.
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying Thor Ragnarok's at the bottom. So you're saying, we're talking Cobra Kai. You're saying it's as like bad as maybe, Iron Man 2 or Captain Marvel and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I actually am curious.
It's not worse than Captain Marvel. I enjoy Iron Man 2 more than Ragnarok, in my humble opinion.
Iron Man 2 was decent. I think again the villains in that were kind of. I mean, Whiplash, terrible villain. Terrible.
Iron Man 3 is better than Iron Man 2, but personally, I enjoy Iron Man 2 more than Iron Man 3. That's a hot take.
I think Iron Man 1 is still the best one out of the trilogy. It's just hit you hard. And Ironmonger was great.
Still top 10 for me.
Yeah, that's one of the top 10 for sure MCU movies, Iron Man.
Yep. Do you think... Well, at least we can all agree on Winter Soldier or being one of the best, right?
Shamoon, that's your favorite.
Yeah. Now, I agree on everything you said about the Captain America films and the Avengers films. Like, that's exactly how I feel.
Captain America, we're all in line.
Yeah.
Maybe nothing else.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Shamoon, that's your favorite MCU movie, right? Winter Soldier?
If you say solo film, I mean, it's hard to say specifically. If for favorite, I'd probably still say Endgame. Just I never forget that experience I had. I feel like if you go to a premiere opening night and all the things that are going into it, and also being a creator and just being so excited for it, I really feel my experience of it was just so phenomenal that that's also what I took with the film. And some people are obviously like Endgame's not that good, it's overrated, but I feel like it was just amazing. But
I told my son, he was like 8 when we saw that. When we left the theater, I'm like, this is an experience you're going to remember for the rest of your life. I was like, it's one of these once in a lifetime theatrical. You'll be able to say that you were there when Endgame came out and like broke all these box office records and everything. It's on that level of like Star Wars was back in the 70s, I think.
Do you know what? I still miss those that era where we had like the
Movie
first trailer for Infinity War, and then like and then obviously Endgame. It's gone so quick now, but yeah, I mean that the hype for that was insane. Like if you can live through that, I mean you're very lucky, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember telling myself walking out Infinity War Endgame, I was like, this is what it felt like to be back then when Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi came out.
That's what the Russo
kids. It was packed. Everyone was wearing costumes. It was like
and to do it now is more impressive because you have so much more content now than you did back then. So to get that level of hype now in this day and age is honestly more impressive, I think.
Mm.
Everyone was into it. Everyone was wearing shirts of Marvel characters, the favorite Marvel characters. It's just an experience I will cherish forever, man. It's God.
I will never forget
the first Avengers. Watching that first time Avengers as a kid, watching my
them coming together.
It's like this. I was telling myself this movie is not supposed to work as a little kid, but it worked. I'm like, wow, you know. So God,
I'll never forget the screams I heard when Cap lifted Mjolnir and like when Thor entered Wakanda in the IMAX. I remember this one dude got up so quickly and he was like, he had his arms up in the air and he was probably screaming, and obviously everyone else was screaming in the cinema. Yeah. But I just remember it felt like I was in a club and loud music was playing. It was like freaking everybody was screaming, and oh dude, I kind of wish I'd caught it on camera. It was just amazing.
Thor 3, talking about that garbage. It's not as bad as Captain Marvel, but not as good as Incredible Hulk. Has Incredible Hulk. A huge hot take.
Oh, Incredible Hulk's debatable.
Okay.
It's like number 20.
It's not a bad film. I think it's one of my favorite Hulks. I personally think Hulk's best appearance is Avengers. But still, that's one of his best.
Yeah, I agree.
It's better than the disaster that was the Ang Lee Hulk from 2003, because I almost walked out of the theater on that one.
Dude, I think his Hulk was... I just think his Hulk was, like, it was very monster-like, but...
Yeah,
I mean, he was...
like that.
What I liked about it, though, he was 13... I think it's 13 foot, like, and compared to the Incredible Hulk, he was 8 foot. Can you imagine that Eric Banner Hulk against Thanos? Like, he would make Thanos look tiny.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. It was a bit messy, but I didn't really. I actually quite liked it. But yeah,
I haven't watched it in a long time. Yeah, I think it's been since the theaters, probably since I watched it.
Oh my god! Wow. I watched it like a month ago, I think. So not too long.
Kind of want to check that one out because I remember watching that movie when I was a kid. So. Yeah, overall, Hulk right now, he's a disaster. Hopefully they do Captain America series because they retire the character perfectly. Well, they're doing a series that's called Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm actually pretty excited because I'm really looking at the marketing. They're like honor the legacy of the Shield. You know, they're really putting a lot of respect to Cap's name. Yeah, I freaking love that. And
I'm excited to see US Agent as well. Ken, I don't know if you are, but I love that idea of that Captain, America coming in, and John Walker's character is quite interesting in the comics.
Hopefully they don't.
Oh
yeah, as retired Captain America.
I would love to see a series on how he returned the stones. Like, I would love to see something like that.
Yeah, like a short limited series. I think Chris Evans retired,
like a 4-piece episode.
Yeah, I think he's retired. I'll be honest.
Mini limited series, pretty much. Yeah.
I think his the retired Captain America is gonna. Which I want. I told Shamoon about it. I want that. I want him to come back as like a Nick Fury type role in the shadows, kind of.
Well, Old Man Cap in the comics, he does kind of shoot up and everything, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think they're gonna do that, and I love Cap. I can't get enough of him.
Would be crazy seeing old Cap do all of that. Like, that'd just be funny.
Yeah, but I don't think I want Cap as Captain America. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be an old man, kind of
Steve, like more Steve than
Steve Rogers, right? I want Falcon to take on the mantle and do a good job of doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
After Age of Ultron, Hulk became a joke. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they had to take him in a new direction, and I think his arc with Nat was also messy because Whedon wanted that, and then they didn't go with that, and yeah, it's just all over the place. But
even in that movie, it just didn't work. They didn't have no chemistry at all.
In Endgame, that was obviously the biggest disappointment, him not fighting Thanos again. I don't know how you feel about that, Ken, but that was something a lot of people wanted to
I
see.
felt exactly the same as you.
Yeah,
The fact that I understood why he couldn't fight Thanos because he had absorbed all that energy from doing the snap, but it was still very disappointing.
Right. This will line up to our highlight moment in our final grades of this particular episode. Do you think Agnes will kill Wanda's kids? I feel like they might be too dark for the MCU. Now, I'm going to throw out my theory. I just came up with this theory right now in this stream. I think Agnes might take these kids into a different dimension and trap them there, or maybe a different multiverse.
That's probably how it could come into get involved.
I don't think they will kill them. I want them to be killed just because it'll be more, deep. But it seems like, I don't know if Ken knows, but those two characters end up joining the Young Avengers. So they're probably, of course, planting the seeds for that for right now. But I want those kids to be complex. I want them to be complicated, complicated to even have part of the team, having going to troubles with Wanda and all that stuff. So hopefully, I think for surely Wanda won't have the kids by the show. I don't think it will be a happy ending. Of course, this ties into Wanda being a multiverse madness and breaks loose, right? I still want Wanda at the end of the show to become a villain of some sorts, a Scarlet Witch.
She kind of mentions that as well. She's like, because Monica's like, don't be the villain or don't become the villain.
They've been mentioning it a couple times, referencing, yeah.
What if I already am? I think she says, or something like that.
Ken, thoughts on this? You think they will do it or no? Agnes killing the kids.
I mean, as far as it being too dark, she already killed a dog. So, I mean, that's the worst thing you could do in a TV or a movie. So, yeah, I think that kids isn't out of the question. She could definitely kill the kids.
Yeah, that'll be a big twist if they do kill the kids.
I mean, it's kind of expected if you know what happens with the kids in the first place, like with the comics. But yeah, I mean, it would still be crazy to see that because if they genuinely die, then I mean, I think they die, but then they're like, well, I think Mephisto takes them away, but then they're like reborn through different lives. So the brothers are separated, and they're like basically it's like rebirth, I think, and like their soul. I don't know if it's like kind of goes into another person. I don't know if it's like that, or I don't know the route and how they'll do it. But it'll be cool to see that they don't know that they're brothers, but they both gravitate towards the Avengers. That'd be quite cool to see.
They could do some sort of them being killed off and probably bringing them back in a way. And which will work with this episode. That will be a twist. But yeah, let's get into our highlight moment, and then we're gonna get to a couple more questions. Highlight moment is pretty much like the best moment of the episode overall. Oh, waiting for next week. Highlight moment. What's your highlight moment, Ken?
I would probably say the scene at the Avengers compound where they're sitting on the bed talking, and then that great line from Vision. That was probably my favorite moment of the episode.
That's a good one. Shamoon?
There was quite a few good moments, and I really, really, really was focused in this episode. It's kind of hard to pick. But I think I'd say the moment we saw Wanda with Pietro and what happened to her parents, and then the thing with the Hex, like the fact that that was the first time we'd seen her use her Scarlet Witch power. Because it was quite an interesting moment, and just the scene generally with her family, like we never really seen that. But yeah, I mean, it's not literally a highlight with what happened in that scene, but it's a highlight in the sense that it's pretty big for the character to understand her.
Yeah.
But I can't forget the post credit though with White Vision, because obviously I was hoping that would happen. So it's tough to choose.
Shamoon were live when that was happening. We're going crazy.
What's it called? White Vision. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
That's a great moment. You talk about, kind of like the origin, seeing her parents. Very emotional. Not gonna lie, a little tear, especially because of Christopher Beck's score throughout that. You really
he did Ant-Man theme as well. He's a very good composer. I like him.
You really felt the score in this episode. But I'm gonna go with when she is in the base, right? Sword base, and she sees the dismantled Vision. And she's trying to touch the middle of it says like, I can't feel you. And the way how
that was so sad. I remember we were watching that, and it's in the fields.
Very much
just like that, just like Wanda was right there. Yeah.
Very much a deep episode, and I love when my superheroes are down in the dirt, down in their luck, depressed. So it falls in line with this episode. So speaking about this episode, final grades. I'm starting with Ken. We're gonna do the way how I grade is ABC with minuses and plus. So F to A plus is the highest.
Let me get in the mindset of that. I'll give this. I would probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. That's usually how I grade. So that's probably a C. Is a bit too harsh. I'll go a C plus. I'll go a C plus for this one.
Oh wow.
B minus. Like I said, I was a little mixed on it. I liked it better the second time I watched it, but it's still it's an exposition episode, and nothing really happened. You didn't get any progression from beginning to end.
Right.
Most of the stuff that they shared, I already had a vague idea that was the case. So I didn't feel like I got anything new with this episode.
Wow, that's that's a shock because I think we were all in agreement. The whole world was like, yeah, this is the best episode of WandaVision. But no, I love the different opinions here. They're always welcome. Shamoon, final grades.
So, like I said, I think in a way, like it was very different. I mean, it was definitely like it was an exposition episode, and yeah, we saw a lot of. You could expect that they were like going to show you the origin finally, because we've been wanting to see this since the first episode, but. I liked it because it was, I love my action, you know that, but it was different in a good way, and I think for that, I'll probably give it an A. It was a really good episode for the origin, and it really gave us a perspective we hadn't seen and answered many questions, and yeah, like the ending and all that kind of stuff, it was pretty mind-blowing, so I'll give it an A. It's probably been a consistent grade for me in the last few episodes, apart from the last episode, because that was like pretty bad, but yeah, I'll probably give it an A compared to the last episode, which was like a C something, I think.
Yeah, I give it like a D plus last episode. This episode
fair enough. I gave it like a C, or I can't remember, but yeah, it was a C.
It was the worst episode. Even this episode maybe look back, it's like, what was the point of that last episode, right? Talking about this episode, like I said, I love when I see my heroes down on our luck, depressed at the lowest point. We saw very much of that here in WandaVision episode 8. We saw Wanda's origin of losing her parents, losing Vision, losing Pietro, right? And how she coped with it, and kind of the grief she's going through, and kind of like the mindset she is. I love my Spider-Man 2 when Peter Parker is just having a worst day ever. I love my Logans. I just love seeing superheroes depressed. I don't know why. It's just very it's very enjoyable to see how they can get out of that. So if I'm gonna have the great episode, I'm gonna go with an A minus. That's the highest yet of this entire season. I throw in that minus because it's not super perfect. But overall, A minus, subject to change when we see this upcoming episode 9. So yeah, man, that's gonna be it for the WandaVision spot of it, our spoiler talk. But we're gonna get to a couple more questions and then we're gonna head out. Do you guys, I think we all know, do you guys saw Spider-Man No Way Home pictures like Basement? I think these are from WandaVision. Do you saw those pics, Ken?
No, I didn't. I don't think I did.
So on Instagram, Zendaya, Tom Holland, you know, when they came out with those fake titles,
I saw all that, yeah.
Yeah, they had those trash titles. They had a second slide, and it was pictures. It was steals from the movie, and looked like they were in the basement. Which people have been speculating, and I think we'll get into this, Shamoon. Maybe that's the Secret of Centaura, Doctor Strange. Which that's probably Doctor Strange's place, right? His crib. But I don't want that.
I saw an image, right, of this made me laugh, but I can see why someone said it. So that image of, I think, Ned, MJ, and Peter looking up, and there's like a shadow, and someone said that the shadow looks like Doctor Strange with his hair and everything, but what made me laugh is someone's went, guys, that's like Ned's shadow casting on MJ, because he's literally right in front of MJ. And then I just thought, yeah, I don't think that is Doctor Strange, but in the sense they're in the basement, and yeah, like what are they looking up at, and like who is it? Like it could be Doctor Strange.
It could be
Won't rule
strange.
it out.
Yeah, it could be strange, but I'm actually gonna pull it up right here. This is Ken's.
Yeah, that'll be easier if you can do that.
Let me see right here. We go boom, boom, boom. Stop screen. Boom, boom, boom. Booyah! Here we go. Yeah, they're looking up, and you guys can see that they're looking up.
Yeah,
at
you see that shadow? That shadow by MJ. That's actually Ned. It's not Doctor Strange, but I mean, it kind of makes sense why it's him. I mean,
someone also brought up a point that this same lamp or something like that, or the tile on the floor, is from Doctor Strange. When I'm like, how do you even know that? Maybe the tile, but I don't know about a lamp. Yeah. So
I saw someone say about it's his sanctorium, but it doesn't look like it. I thought they were in a basement, they're hiding, and like, yeah, they're in somewhere because of obviously the situation with Peter being exposed to Spider-Man. But I don't know how they're gonna go about that.
Yeah,
we'll obviously find out. But I feel like, you know, a lot of people already theorized right at the end of the film that Nick Fury is just going to send some scrolls to confuse people, and then show that he's really not Spider-Man, because he could be out there and then someone could be Spider-Man at the same time, which could easily go, okay, he's not Spider-Man, because then people will be like, wait, Peter's here, so it's not Peter Parker, it's just they're picking on him. But yeah, I don't know how they're going to go about all of that and all the villains involved, because obviously they've been keeping a lot of it in secret, so it'll be interesting to see.
I do have a very much of an issue if that's the case when it comes to these picks. I do appreciate, you know, seeing more of Zendaya, seeing more of Jacob Babylon, but I want Peter to do this on his own. I don't want him to have no help at all on his own completely, and I don't want.
I mean, a lot of people were worried that Doctor Strange is going to be like a mentor for him, and you know, people didn't like that with Iron Man. But again, his Spider-Man is very young compared to the others, so I think they're trying to communicate this thing to the younger audience, like you need help, you know, as you're young because you're still figuring out yourself. Whereas the other Spider-Man, they're a bit more mature about it, and they just they were way more independent. This Spider-Man's a bit self-reliant on others, and I think it's just the differences in the styles. But yeah, I mean, I can understand why people like it and don't like it. But yeah, I think, why I went is because this really gives me that Daredevil or Defenders type vibe with the grittiness of where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously those rumors about Daredevil showing up, and if that was the case, like, that would be huge.
Let's go.
Or even referring to Matt Murdock, or even Jennifer Walters, who's obviously going to be in She-Hulk.
Right. Yeah, man. Right now, like I said, and I had a movie news discussion video. I'm really just excited for, if the rumors are true, if Toby and Andrew and especially Charlie Cox Daredevil are in this movie, sign me up. For Tom Holland, I don't know. Not too excited on Tom Holland's part.
I've got two friends
around him. You know.
Yeah. I've got two friends who absolutely hate Tom Holland. Like, they're like, Tom Holland can die. Like, they hate Tom Holland so much. They kind of say stuff like that. It's insane. I don't mind his Spider-Man, but yeah, I don't think he's the best.
I do enjoy Tom. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the way how they done.
Tom's great.
Tom's great.
I think
it's more of the writing when it comes to Spider-Man. But let's see what they do in this movie. But the selling point is, for sure, the selling point, the people, the tickets are going to get sold, are the ones who are coming in for Toby. That's clear as day. How long episode 9 is going to be? First part of March 5th. Can't wait. What's going on with White Vision? I reported on my Instagram, it's going to be 50 minutes. They say 50 minutes, so by far the longest one yet. So I want to say, 45 minutes, 47, including credits. So it's going to be around that time period, which it has to be. And talking Cobra Kai mentioned that too. 50 minutes, apparently.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Let's see. It has to be the longest one yet. Is the next Ant-Man movie considered Ant-Man 3 or Ant-Man and the Wasp 2? It is.
It's got Quantumania in the name, but it's Ant-Man and the Wasp in Quantumania or Quantumania?
still part of the Ant-Man trilogy, the Ant-Man franchise, so I will consider it an Ant-Man 3 movie. Or you could go
it's definitely not Man 3.
Ant-Man 2 sequel. It doesn't really matter. I think they just added the title. But yeah.
That's a bit of a tedious one, talking Cobra Kai.
Do you think that that'll be on Disney Plus?
The Ant-Man and then Wasp, or Ant-Man and Wasp?
You know what? I
Provided
want
we
to see all the
actually do have
MCU
theaters
films.
come back, and not every movie is going to Disney Plus, because that's always could be a possibility too. But
I mean, I'm surprised Black Widow hasn't already, but they're really trying to hold that out, and I feel like that's just respect for.
I think that they're going to
Scarlett
wait and
Johansson.
see how Raya and The Last Dragon does for their premium thing this week, and if it does well, they'll probably do it on Disney Plus, I would say.
You might as well release it in cinema and on Disney Plus, like they did with.
Yeah,
I think they did that with
agree.
Mulan.
They should be doing the same thing that HBO Max is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away from Black Widow. I'm excited. I don't know what you guys feel about Black Widow. I'm excited for Black Widow. It's like that ground. What you want to say? More grounded storytelling. You know,
it feels like a mix between Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy, is what that trailer reminds me of.
I get that. There's a massive Winter Soldier vibe in it, which I really like. A little bit espionage as well.
Functional family dynamic that they kind of showed off in the trailer between David Harbour and Rachel Weisz.
I can't wait to see him. Red Guardian, man. He's Russian Cat, basically. That's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah. I'm still excited, but I won't mind it if it does come on Disney Plus. It feels very much like a side appetizer.
I do want to see, like, you know, other. I mean, I don't mind seeing one or two films in Disney Plus, but in honesty, like, I just want to get back to theater, of course, and seeing it properly. I mean, I'll go to every premiere night for all the MCU films, because we haven't done one since Far From Home. It's only been 2 years, so yeah. I mean, that experience is what we guys love, and we need a really good film to see on the big screens, you know. And
yeah.
So those pictures, these look like from WandaVision. I don't see them in the. Nah, it's gonna.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are. I don't think
it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't have to. Obviously, we don't get enough context, but it doesn't make sense for them to be in a basement if it's in WandaVision. Like, why in Westview?
Yeah, I think it's more centered around New York. Spider-Man 3 will be and multiverse.
What do you imagine? Toby's in the basement just waiting for it to be the big cameo.
Right. What do you think about Wanda's future MCU costume? This is sick as fuck. I think he's referring to the Scarlet Witch costume.
Yeah, they showed that glimpse when she looked at the Mind Stone. It actually looked really cool, and it doesn't look cartoony or funny like the Halloween episode. I think that they could really give her a really cool costume, and you feel like, yeah, this is Scarlet Witch. And I think you'll start seeing they refer to her as that rather than just Wanda. But they'll still call her Wanda, of course.
All right. I think very much. I'm excited. I think it's just the MCU style. They like to get the classic costumes, but make them modern enough to fit in this film. Ken, are you excited to see Scarlet Witch outfit?
She can just wear the costume that she wore in episode 6, and I'll be fine with that.
Yeah, I mean that
will agree. That's all Lizzie Olsen right there. But yeah, man, I think that's gonna be it for our live spoiler talk. So before we head out, let's do our plugins, and we got to start with our special guest of the week, Ken. Where did Ken find you, man?
You guys can follow me pretty much everywhere except for Twitter, as we discovered before we came on here. But on Instagram at MidLevealMedia. I'm also on Instagram, Mid-Level Movie Reviews. I know it's confusing. I have 2 different Instagrams, but one I review movies on, and one I kind of do physical media, 4K announcements and stuff. Also on the YouTube channel, I got Mid-Level Media, where I do kind of physical media news. Do Blu-ray hunts. I go into stores, Walmarts, Targets, and show you all the latest releases. I do physical media reviews, all kinds of stuff on my channel that if you are a physical media collector enthusiast like I am, you will definitely enjoy. And yeah, I appreciate you having me on here today to talk WandaVision, because in addition to being a collector, a physical media enthusiast, I also love talking about TV, talking about Marvel, and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you having me on here today to talk with you all about that. It was a great time.
Of course, man. We got to run this back again and again for bringing in Ken, man. Really brought in the knowledge of filmmaking and all that great stuff, and love the different opinions, because I got to tell you, he has some crazy opinions. Shamoon, where can the good people find you?
Great. There's to touch on that before I do my plug. Like, I think that's the great thing about this. Though we all have different viewpoints, but we still agree on stuff. But again, Matt, of course, I'm your co-host. I'm here every week. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and it's great to meet yourself, Ken. I'll be checking out your channel and stuff. And yeah, if you guys want to find me on social media, you can find me at Shamoon Reacts on YouTube. And of course, if you are a big Cobra Kai fan or finding the show somewhat interesting, you want to find out more about the show, then of course check out Cobra Kai Nation, where I talk a lot about the show, and of course some awesome cast interviews that are coming out soon as well. And I've done quite a lot, so definitely check that out. And you can find me on Instagram at Shamoon Reacts and on Cobra Kai CK Nation YouTube. So yeah, thanks again, Matt. It's going to be awesome, and I can't wait for the next spoiler talk for the finale.
Of course, man. And I got to do my own plug-in, my channel right here, Basic Entertainment. Welcome, guys, to the Basic family. Everyone who has joined in the comments, you guys really put up a show. This was very much an episode that was worth discussing. But of course, you guys can follow me on Basic Entertainment here on my YouTube page, where I do movie reviews, movie talk, discussions, trailer reactions, all that great stuff, all movies. But if you want more movie news and talk, well, go follow my Instagram, because I cover a bunch of stuff, doing mini movie reviews for movies that maybe are not too much for like the YouTube scale. So go check that out. Follow me on Twitter. You guys can follow me. All of our links will be in the description below. Thank you guys for coming on by. Again, Connor, great chatting with you guys. Thanks for the stream. Of course, man.
Good to see you again.
Ken, you got a new subscriber, man.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate chatting with you guys, man. It was awesome.
You too, man.
Of course, we're going to run this back next week. And Ken, right now, Shamoon will be there, and we'll bring back. We're going to reassemble the whole team that has been throughout this entire series of talking WandaVision here on Live Spoiler Talk on Monday. Next week will be 1:20 around the same time, 1:20 Pacific time, 4:20 Eastern. And what time would that be for you, Shamoon?
9:20 p.m. GMT, so perfect timing, and that's going to be a big one. So how many of us will there be?
Right now, it's lining up to be 6 people, the biggest one so far in Basic Entertainment.
So that's us three. So who else is involved?
You got AJ, Cernvids, MChat, and me, us 3.
Oh, that's going to be good. I like that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get them on, so it's going to be a blast next week. Thank you guys for coming by. I'll see you guys next time. Make sure.
Take care, guys.
To peace out and deuces.